You don't build attraction by saying the right line. You build it in the moments where most men hesitate, and you don't. Miss this, and the connection dies before it even starts. The truth is simple, but rarely spoken out loud. A hug hits deeper than anything you could say. It bypasses the noise, the overthinking, the social dance. When you pull someone in with calm intention, your presence speaks for you. A steady hold says you're grounded. A relaxed chest says you're not performing. That's why a hug cuts through faster than appearance or clever conversation ever could. It's real, and she feels it instantly. In early interactions, she responds to how you make her feel, not how perfectly you structure your words. She pays attention to your energy, your calm, your certainty. When you hug with clarity instead of hesitation, you give her something to react to. It's not about rushing intimacy. It's about offering a moment where her body can register what her mind can't articulate yet. Presence beats logic every time. A good hug sends a message without forcing anything. It tells her she's safe around you. It shows you can hold space without tension. It reveals a masculine steadiness that doesn't need to be announced. When she leans in because she feels protected, that's where attraction ignites. Not from pressure, from the simplicity of how you show up in that brief, grounded moment. A weak hug always reveals itself, first, through the basics. Light pressure, a distant body, a quick release. You barely make contact, you pull back, before anything grounds, and the whole exchange feels like it never fully happened. It's not restraint, it's disconnect. And the other person feels that instantly. They register a gap between you and them, both physically and emotionally. That kind of hug communicates uncertainty, hesitation, and nervousness. When your body isn't committed, your message isn't either. You touch, but you don't arrive. You step in, but you don't mean it. The other person senses the wobble in your presence, and their emotional response mirrors it. Their guard goes up, not out of fear, but out of confusion. They're trying to figure out where you stand because your energy is undecided. And the result is simple. It creates awkwardness and pushes the moment into a platonic frame. A weak hug signals, without words, that you're not fully engaged. The connection stays shallow. The moment doesn't build. It fizzles. Instead of feeling drawn in, the other person feels like they should step back, reset, and keep things safe on the surface. You're not aiming for force. You're aiming for certainty. Presence over pressure. Commitment over hesitation. That's what shifts the emotional tone. That's what makes the moment land. An aggressive hug tells the truth faster than any sentence. When you squeeze too hard, hold too long, or let your hands land where they don't belong, the other person feels it instantly. You might think you're showing enthusiasm. You're not. You're overwhelming their space. A hug like that doesn't read as confident presence. It reads as someone who can't regulate their own energy. And the moment they sense that imbalance, they pull back emotionally, even if they stay physically still. The discomfort hits them before they can rationalize it. Their body tenses. Their breath shortens. They're no longer focused on you. They're focused on getting out. That's what a boundary violation feels like on their side. It's not drama. It's instinct. When you push past their comfort zone, even by accident, you signal that you're not tuned in. And presence is exactly that. Reading the moment, matching the pace, giving space without losing your ground. The deeper cost comes from what the hug communicates beneath the surface. An aggressive embrace doesn't feel assertive. It feels desperate. It suggests you're trying to hold on to something, instead of letting the connection rise naturally. And desperation erodes respect fast. When someone feels that grasping energy, they stop seeing you as steady. They stop trusting your intentions. You want your presence to speak certainty, not hunger. A grounded hug is simple. You meet, you anchor, you release. Clean, clear, confident. A masculine hug has a clear signature. It's firm, confident, and you commit to the full embrace. No hesitation. No half lean. When you go chest to chest, you're sending a direct message through your presence. You're here, you're grounded, and you're not afraid of closeness. That alone shifts the emotional tone. She feels the steadiness in your body, and her mind reads it instantly. It's not force, It's certainty. That kind of hug communicates more than words ever could. Your confidence shows in the way you hold your frame. Your protection shows in the way you wrap your arms without clutching. Your masculine presence shows in the way you let the moment breathe instead of rushing it. You're not trying to create an effect. You're simply anchored in yourself. And she picks up on that. The emotional response is subtle but strong. She relaxes because you're not performing. You're just solid. When the hug lands right, it creates a very specific feeling in her. Safety, security, and a pull toward you that she didn't plan for. Not because you're doing anything dramatic, but because you're offering something rare. A moment where she can let go while you stay steady. That contrast opens space for desire. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's the quiet certainty of your embrace that invites her to want more. A strong hug starts before your arms even make contact. You commit with intention. You open your arms without hesitation. That clarity tells her you're present, not performing. It's not about rushing in. It's about letting her feel that you've already decided to show up fully. When you step in with that certainty, she relaxes because there's nothing confusing in your energy. When you pull her in, you do it gently, but with purpose. You guide her toward you and let the chest meet first. That single point of contact shifts the entire mood. It signals warmth without crowding her. It's not force, it's alignment. And in that alignment, she feels the steadiness of someone who knows exactly where he stands. That steadiness is what lets her soften into the moment. As the hug settles, your pressure becomes firm enough to feel supportive, never heavy. Your stance stays grounded so she senses stability. And your breathing stays relaxed, which sets the emotional tone. You're not trying to impress her with intensity. You're creating a pocket of calm she can lean into. When your body is anchored, her body naturally mirrors that calm. That's how presence works. You hold your center, and she feels safe to access hers. The release matters just as much as the pull-in. You hold the hug for 2 to 4 seconds, long enough to land, not long enough to cling. Then you let go with the same composure you started with. No sudden drop, no rushed step back. You open the space gradually and meet her eyes afterward. That eye contact closes the moment with clarity. It tells her you're still here, still steady, and not hiding behind the hug you just gave. A great hug isn't a trick. It's a display of control, certainty, and presence. When you move through each phase with intention, she doesn't just feel the hug. She feels you, clear, grounded, and unmistakably sure of yourself. A weak hug kills the moment fast, and you feel it in her body before you even let go. Avoid patting her back, the A-frame hug, and the one-arm side hug. Those moves signal distance, not interest. When you pat her, you turn an intimate moment into something casual. When you lean in with an A-frame posture, you tell her you're half present. And when you slide in with a one-arm side hug, you create uncertainty instead of connection. She reads all of it instantly. Your presence drops and the moment collapses. Hold her with intention. Still, calm, grounded. And don't let your arms hang limp or look around distractedly. A limp hug feels like you're not choosing the moment. A wandering gaze feels like you're already done and moving on. She senses when you're not fully with her. Presence isn't loud, it's steady. When you hold her with a firm, clear frame, she relaxes into it because she feels you're actually there. One silent moment of focus says more than anything you could try to explain. Avoid asking permission unless you're genuinely unsure about physical contact. Over-verbalizing creates friction and pulls you both out of the interaction. It's not confidence. It's hesitation disguised as politeness. If the moment is clear, you move with certainty. If the moment is unclear, you ask simply and directly. That balance shows self-control, not doubt. She feels safer with a man who knows when to act and when to check in. Presence creates clarity. Clarity creates trust. A solid hug reveals more about you than any line you could say. It's a clear preview of your character and your intentions. The way you hold someone shows whether you're grounded or scattered, present or distracted. You don't impress with force. You impress with certainty. When your hug is steady and intentional, the other person feels who you are without you having to explain a thing. A correct hug creates a powerful mix of safety and attraction. It's the moment where your presence becomes real. Your calm signals stability. Your clarity signals confidence. And that combination pulls someone closer on a level they don't have to analyze. It's not about holding them tighter. It's about giving them something consistent to lean into. People remember how you made them feel, and a well-delivered hug does that instantly. When you pair that kind of hug with clean, grounded flirting, the connection deepens naturally. Your energy stops feeling random and starts feeling intentional. You flirt with ease, because you're not trying to prove anything. You're simply showing up fully, and that presence makes every interaction smoother. The hug sets the tone. The flirting builds the rhythm. Together, they create a dynamic that feels balanced, warm, and unmistakably confident. The insight is simple. Your hug is the first impression of your presence, your confidence, and your intention. Make it count. Own the moment.